I can't believe I'm doing this. Yes, as you've read by the title, we are doing, as the kids call it, a meme review today of the Ross Chastain memes that have happened since the Richmond race. In case you missed it, on Sunday, the race at Richmond happened, and I actually only watched like 2 laps of it. But yes, going back and watching the highlights and stuff, Christopher Bell wrecked William Byron. You may be wondering, how does that relate to Ross Chastain? Well, Ross Chastain wrecked Christopher Bell, as you can clearly see by this picture. Okay, that was a joke. Ross Chastain never made contact with Christopher Bell, but after the race, Christopher Bell called Ross Chastain a wrecking ball and basically said that he caused the wreck with Byron. After further review, Bell actually made a statement saying that, I apologize, I messed up, whatever, it wasn't actually Ross's fault. I can't remember the exact wording, but he basically said, Ross didn't wreck me, I wrecked him, my bad. Now, what followed was the internet. Tons of memes have been made of blaming Ross Chastain on things that aren't actually Ross Chastain's fault, and we're going to go through some of them. I bookmarked a few tweets of some of the memes on the internets right now, and I have to say, some people will be offended by these memes, mainly Ross Chastain fans. But on a serious note, I tried to keep some of the most offensive ones out just because, you know, I try to keep it mostly family friendly here, and there is a limit that I have that I don't want people to be offended by, but we're still going to go through some. So let's start off with an innocent one. I'm going to say whoever tweeted it, I don't know if they actually made it, but this is just how I found it. Whoever made it, if you made it, and I say someone else's name, I'm sorry, it's just where I found it. You can yell at me, take credit in the comments. Let's start out with a simple one. Chastain versus Chastain, the rivalry we all needed, by @Neom13. It's Ross Chastain wrecking Ross Chastain at Gateway. Of course, where Ross Chastain kind of got his reputation in the Cup Series side of things. We're going to rate these memes on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, 5 being average. It's definitely a funny concept. The Photoshop's not that bad. Even the skid mark looks like it's Ross Chastain. It's like right over Hamlin's car. I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10. Good Photoshop, good idea. Not too crazy, not too simple. 7 out of 10. Next up, Good Tuesday Morning by @DennyDelivers. God. It's Chastain crashing into the jet dryer at Daytona. That happened a decade ago, more than a decade ago, Juan Pablo Montoya crashed into the jet dryer, and here we are making a meme of it as Ross Chastain. Really good one. The photoshopping's good. The event chosen was good. I mean, it looks like Chastain's trying to destroy the jet dryer here. 9 out of 10. Oh boy. You gotta tell me if this is too soon. This one may be too soon. But this one is from @11234EM. Oh my gosh. If you cannot tell, that is Chase Elliott under the helmet and goggles there. And those are the mountains. For those of you who are unaware, Chase Elliott broke his leg while snowboarding in the mountains. And as you can see by this Photoshop here, that is Ross Chastain in the background. The meme saying that Ross Chastain broke Chase Elliott's leg. This is one of my favorites. Not like because Chase Elliott broke his leg, but just the timing of it. The timing of it. Chase Elliott broke his leg, 3 weeks ago? And now we're blaming Ross Chastain for it. Quality meme. Very funny. The first time I saw it, I laughed a lot. 10 out of 10. My goodness. Oh my gosh. Up next, from @Productions Eli. Wait, Chastain, no. It's the Max Verstappen Lewis Hamilton crash from Monza in that first chicane, literally the slowest part of the track, and they ended up on top of each other, or Verstappen on top of Hamilton. And the Photoshop is perfect because it's when Chastain wrecked at Texas last year in the All-Star race and he flipped on his side, and it looks like he's digging into the gravel like Verstappen did, and that he's on top of Hamilton. The Photoshop and the idea, this is another 10 out of 10 one. I love this one. The Photoshop really makes it much better in my opinion. The idea is good itself, but, it's not the best idea, but it's a clever idea. But the Photoshop is perfect on top of it. So yeah, 10 out of 10 on that one. At No Context NASCAR posted... Oh boy, Regan Smith fans, cover your eyes. It's Ross Chastain's car that was photoshopped as a car of tomorrow with the wing forcing or going below the yellow line to pass Ross Chastain. And of course, we all know how that one ended. Tony Stewart ended up getting the win in that one. But yes, Regan Smith in shambles. Decent. The car tomorrow looks really cool. The idea, it exists. 6 out of 10. Next up, this account's called @_tremendation. I don't know if I'm saying that right, with another underscore at the end. He posted a video of a bunch of memes. There's a good amount of offensive ones in here, so we're gonna pause it on the good ones. So I can't remember which ones I saved, but I think I will know. So here's one. Back to F1 and Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton fans, cover your eyes. It's from Abu Dhabi 2021. I think I just heard rage screams all the way from Great Britain. Sorry. But yes, it is, instead of Max Verstappen passing Hamilton in turn 5, it is instead Ross Chastain. Tremendation made this compilation of all the memes. If you want to go see it, it's on their Twitter. Some of them are very offensive, I must warn you before you go and find it. But yes, quality idea. The Photoshop could have used some work, but it's still really funny. It's hilarious. 6 out of 10. Yes. The Michael Schumacher clinching his 1994 title in the dirtiest way possible. Here's my thing with this one. It's a funny idea. It really is, but the way the picture is, it's kind of hard to force Chastain in that Photoshop. So they had to put him in on the other side, but Michael's like this, so he's almost flipping into Chastain, so it doesn't look like Chastain's wrecking him. That is my biggest problem with this one. It's a hilarious idea. I love the reference, but it's just the Photoshop work kind of bothers me that he's on the wrong side. Like, if it was ironically bad, but it looks like it was tried, so I'm gonna go below average on this one. I'm gonna go 4 out of 10 on this one. I love the concept. That 1994 world title, it was a dark season for F1. It ended in a terrible way, but to use it as a meme for blaming Ross Chastain is great. I just think the work could have been done better, in my opinion. Let's move on. Yes, okay. The O.J. Simpson one. For those of you who don't know, O.J. Simpson, in his murder case in 1994, speaking of 1994, lines up perfectly. O.J. Simpson was accused of murder of his ex-wife in 1994. And after the arrest warrant had been put out, him and his friend in a Ford Bronco ran from the police, and it was just really bad. They put it over the NBA Finals on TV. Like, it was a huge deal. O.J. Simpson was an NFL Hall of Famer. Broke a bunch of records back in the 60s and 70s. Eventually became, he was in movies and on TV for NBC for football. But this was during the murder case, and he ran from the cops down a major interstate in L.A., I believe. I know it was in L.A., I just don't know if it was an interstate, highway, whatever. But literally, a bunch of cops chasing him. He's going super slow. And so this Photoshop is of Ross Chastain instead of the Ford Bronco. Oh my gosh, man. I love the internet. It's one of my favorites. I gotta be completely honest. It's one of my favorites. 10 out of 10. Man, I love a good OJ joke. OJ, he's on Twitter now. He always says, "Hey, Twitter world, it's me, yours truly." And he gets memed in the comments, or he gets like killer take OJ, stuff like that. And you just go check it out yourself. But OJ meme, 10 out of 10, hilarious. Next one. This one from @JustaBruhMoment. Oh God, oh bad word, I'm late to this. Back to F1 2021. It's Ross Chastain crashing at turn 13 at Abu Dhabi. Oh boy, for those of you who don't know, Abu Dhabi 2021. So 2021 was one of the best F1 championships. It's considered the championship battle, but it also had one of the most controversial endings in all of F1. Lewis Hamilton led the entire race, basically, from Max Verstappen. They were tied on points. Whoever finished higher won, unless they both crashed out. Then Verstappen won on the tiebreaker. Well, Hamilton, who had a 10-plus second lead with about 5 to go, there was a crash with Nicholas Latifi into the wall, which caused a safety car, or as NASCAR we call it, a caution. They changed the rules mid-race, allowing Verstappen to get fresh tires, and he was able to jump Hamilton in a one-lap shootout. It's a long, complicated story, but basically it's still talked about to this day in controversy. Well, they subbed out Nicholas Latifi, who crashed and caused the caution, for Ross Chastain. So basically, Ross Chastain is the reason that Max Verstappen won the 2021 title. This is a very funny one. The Photoshop job's kind of iffy. The idea is great. 5 out of 10. This one I just thought was so dumb. I don't know why. I thought it was so random and dumb that I found it a little bit funny. I can't believe Ross Chastain wrecked Dylan Kowalski. I pronounced that wrong. That was from @Rose_S41. I don't know why I found that so funny, but I did. 6 out of 10. Not many people realize that Ross Chastain helped destroy the Death Star by I Am Suburban. Oh, as a Star Wars fan, this one's hilarious. It literally looks like he's flying out from the Death Star, exploding it with the Millennium Falcon. This is a great one. It looks well photoshopped. It's a quality idea. 9 out of 10. This one, God, I can't stop laughing, guys. I'm sorry. Ross Chastain took out Cale and Donnie, and we all know it. It's not even his car. It looks like he's about to smash a watermelon on Cale Yarborough. Oh my gosh, man. This is one of the best photoshops because it's in black and white. It looks like he's right there. It looks like he's mad. It looks like he's about to smash the watermelon on him. This one's a 10 out of 10. I love this one, man. Fantastic. Next up, we're back to @_tremendation_. Ross, no! It's Ross Chastain wrecking Carl Edwards in the 2016 Homestead race. Oh, Carl Edwards, so close to that first title, gets wrecked by Joey Logano. Well, he wrecked himself, let's be honest. But, oh, man. Yeah, Carl fans are in shambles seeing that one. Tough scene. 8 out of 10. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Chastain did it from @NASCAR Pictures with an X. And it's the Titanic. Oh my God. Oh, for those of you who do not know, the Titanic was supposed to be the unsinkable ship. You can't take it down. It's indestructible. It's invincible, whatever. Literally, its first trip across the Atlantic Ocean, it crashes into an iceberg and sinks. James Cameron made a fiction movie off of the actual events, but it was obviously, as I said, fiction, so not true. But yes, the true events, many people did die, yes. But the boat sank, the unsinkable boat, and so we are saying it's Ross Chastain's fault now. The Photoshop's so random because it doesn't look like he wrecked him, but it looks like he's like watching them just sink. 8 out of 10. This next one is ironically like poorly photoshopped, which I just really think is funny. It's from @RowdyBush8. Can't believe Ross Chastain would dump Kyle Larson like that, referring to the 2018 Chicagoland race. Of course, they are a Kyle Busch fan, as I can guess from their name. And everyone was mad at Kyle Busch for wrecking Larson for that win. But then, others were saying, oh, it's just racing. And so he's saying, oh, it's Chastain's fault. The poor Photoshop makes it even funnier. 7 out of 10. Can you believe Ross Chastain? What is it with this guy? Says NASCAR fan 4888JJ. Spingate. Oh, boy. Spingate. Chastain spun Boyer. Boyer didn't itch his arm. It was Chastain who spun him out. 7 out of 10. Ross Chastain let's do it in the Larry McReynolds voice. Ross Chastain won this race. That was a very bad Larry Mack impersonation, but of course, when Brad Keselowski wrecked Carl Edwards back in 2009, at the very end, Larry Mack said, Brad Keselowski won this race. And they're saying Chastain wrecked Keselowski now. 8 out of 10. This one from at Slim Jim JZ. Ross took out the dinosaurs. This one's my thumbnail. The dinosaur. The best part is the dinosaurs looking up at the fiery, smoky Ross Chastain about to destroy their world, make them go extinct. The dinos are no more because Ross Chastain came barreling in at 1,000,000 miles an hour and exploded the planet. It's all Ross Chastain's fault. Next time you go to a museum and you see dino bones, you tap your friend on the shoulder. You see those bones over there? I know the reason that they're extinct now. It's Ross Chastain. This is one of my favorites. 10 out of 10. Ross Chastain sending it 3 wide while blowing up for the win at Indy will forever be one of the most badass moments in NASCAR history. A very underrated moment. Jimmy Johnson, while his engine was blowing, tried to send it 3 wide at Indy for the win and wrecked himself. Well, it's a very poor Photoshop of Ross Chastain trying to send it 3 wide. The poor Photoshop makes it funnier, in my opinion. 7 out of 10. This next one. God. Oh, this one's terrible. I'm so sorry. This is so bad. Oh. For those of you who don't know, the European part of World War II started in 1939 when Germany and Russia carried out or the Soviet Union at the time, carried out a joint invasion of Poland. The two agreed to invade Poland, split it in half, and they would have a neutral agreement that would say they wouldn't invade each other, which, of course, as we know, was broken because they ended up enemies. Ross Chastain's invasion of Poland, 1939, from at Dab for Dale, I don't know why that's so funny. And it's literally Ross Chastain invading Poland. Oh, that's so bad. World War II is a bad one. Oh boy, I can't even go to more detail. 8 out of 10. This one from at NASCAR_memes. I still have a hard time forgiving Ross Chastain for this incident, TBH. Once again, we have another F1 reference, specifically 2021. A lot of 2021 F1 references. What a year that was to be an F1 fan. Lewis Hamilton wrecked Max Verstappen at Cops at Silverstone, and this is what triggered the ugliness of that battle. And it also triggered the F1 Twitter civil war, which is still ongoing almost 2 years later, more like a year and a half. Yeah, the instant that Hamilton sent Verstappen into the barrier, Twitter Verstappen and Hamilton fans, they're not all bad, but the bad ones started being more vocal. Twitter got uglier ever since then. It was already ugly enough, but Hamilton sending Verstappen to the moon made it 10 times worse, and the Photoshop's great. It looks like it's an onboard from Chastain, and it looks like he wrecked Verstappen. I'm going to go with a 10 out of 10 on this one. Back to another historical event that triggered a war. This one from at the_duck_man21. Ross Chastain's assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, 1914. First photographs taken after the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, heir to the Austrian throne. So for those of you who don't know, there were tensions back in the 1910s, and I think it was a Serbian, correct me if I'm wrong there, that assassinated Franz Ferdinand, the Austrian Archduke. And that triggered World War I because, Serbia was like, or Austria was like, hey, how could you do this? And Serbia's like, well, whatever. And it triggered World War I. World War I was also an ugly war, ended ugly, technically led to World War II. If you think about it, this is not a history lecture. Photoshop is funny. Idea is funny. 8 out of 10. And for our last entry, we have another one that associates with a historical event. For those of you who are unaware, John F. Kennedy was the president of the United States back in the early 1960s, and he is the last president to be assassinated to date. back in November of 1963. He was in Dallas, Texas, and he was shot and killed. Well, he was in a car in an open motorcade going through Dallas, Texas. And, yeah, you see it right here. As you can see clearly, the car behind President Kennedy was Ross Chastain. It was Ross. I don't know what to say anymore. We've gone through how many assassinations on here? 2, Franz Ferdinand and John F. Kennedy. We've gone through the invasion of Poland, O.J. Simpson, the extinction of the dinosaurs, and most tragic of all, Abu Dhabi 2021. Okay. On a serious note, before people get mad about what I just said. Yeah. That was my meme review of the Ross Chastain memes. Obviously, I didn't go through each and every one of them, but there they were. I hope you enjoyed this meme review. Richmond, I did not see the full race. I saw the highlights. Looked like an all right race, I guess. Let me know what your thoughts were on the race. And tell me in the comments what your favorite Ross Chastain meme was. Was it the dinosaurs getting obliterated by Ross Chastain? Was it Max Verstappen getting sent from Silverstone in the UK down to Australia by Ross Chastain at Cops? Was it even Ross Chastain causing Spingate? What was your favorite Ross Chastain meme? I'm sure there are more out there. We can't talk about every one of them because some of the ones I mentioned I feel like were offensive enough, and if I went any further, I probably would get taken down on YouTube. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on this meme compilation thingy, and I will see you guys in the next video. Like, subscribe, share, all that stuff, and I will see you later in the week.